How do normal people drink in moderation? How do normal people think about alcohol? One of my viewers made a comment and asked me this, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do a video on this. Now, the answer is probably going to shock you. So I'd love to know what you guys think about this. This is how a normal person, and I'm using, like, I don't like the word normal, but I think for these purposes, you know what I mean. So you've got a group of people who have a problematic relationship with alcohol, and you've got a group of people who don't have a problematic relationship with alcohol. And I want to explain how the group that doesn't have a problematic relationship with alcohol, how they drink in moderation, and how, more importantly, they think about alcohol. So this is how a normal person thinks about alcohol. They think about alcohol in the same way that I think about sandwiches. So I might think, oh, today I'll have a sandwich for lunch. That'll be nice. I have my sandwich. I enjoy it. Tomorrow I might have a salad. Next day I might have some soup. At the weekend, I might be at a party and a platter of sandwiches goes by. And I think, oh, yeah, I'll have a couple of those. That's nice. I eat my sandwiches. Bit later, platter of sandwiches goes by again. I go, no, I'm good, thanks. That is literally how much I think about sandwiches. Of an occasion, I'll have a sandwich. I don't think about it. One is sufficient. Don't need any more than that. That is how normal people think about alcohol. It's the thinking about it that is the biggest giveaway. Most of the time, I'm going to tell you, most of the time they don't want to have a drink. They're quite fine with an alternative. Of an occasion, they might have something, but it really rents no space in their head. That I want you guys to know that is like the biggest red flag that your drinking is problematic. It's the thinking about it. Because people with an alcohol problem, they do four things. And I'll tell you those four things in just a second. But if you want help to change your relationship with alcohol, make sure you're following me and look below for links for the different ways of working with me. Okay, they do these four things. They drink, they think about drinking, they think about not drinking, and they recover from drinking. And it's the thinking about not drinking alcohol that for me is the deal breaker. That means you're in this pool of people here who have a problematic relationship with alcohol, because alcohol is an inanimate object, right? It's really, I mean, so number one, first of all, know this. If alcohol was invented today, it wouldn't be allowed to be sold because it wouldn't pass any of our regulations about what you can put in your body and all of that kind of stuff. It's because we have such a historical relationship. And by the way, I'm not somebody who thinks that alcohol should ever be like, we tried that. America did that 100 years ago. It doesn't work. Alcohol has a place in our culture, but it's also one of the most dangerous things that you can put in your body. So when we're in this tug of war with ourselves, thinking about drinking, thinking about not drinking, are we drinking too much? Should I cut down? Is anyone noticing about my drinking? Is it bad for me? Should I stop? All that stuff is an indication that your relationship with alcohol just isn't normal. Our relationship with it is different. And my husband is like a normal drinker. I mean, he rarely drinks, very, very rarely. He would never come home and crack open a beer or anything like that. He would maybe, like if we were for dinner with friends and they ordered a bottle of wine, he would maybe have a glass and probably not finish it, right? Like he just doesn't, it would never occur to him to do dry January because he just doesn't think about alcohol. It doesn't rent any space in his head. So I want you to take like that idea and think about that. How much space is alcohol renting in your head? Because when we struggle with an alcohol problem, we sacrifice our very valuable bandwidth. Now, let me explain this. Bandwidth is the amount of energy you have in a day and the amount of space you have to think thoughts. That's what bandwidth is, right? As you age, your bandwidth is going to decrease. So if you have a currency of bandwidth to spend every day on something, right? How are you spending your bandwidth? Are you spending it thinking about drinking, thinking about not drinking, covering from drinking and drinking? Because for me, I want to say it was probably 50% of my bandwidth. 50% of my available bandwidth was spent on alcohol. Thinking about it, thinking about not recovering was a big one, actually. Recovering took me a very long time. I'm really allergic to alcohol. I'd be sick as a dog every single time I drank. So the amount of time I spent recovering, just feeling very, very subpar for half the week, right? So I had 50% of bandwidth to spend on other things. I was at university, so I was studying, I was working, relationships, opportunities, life, right? To spend on life. And I got by, like I always had a job, because the job is where the money is and the money's where the booze is. I always had a drinking crew. I had some friends, but I had a big drinking crew. But I wasn't able to really plan my life. Like I didn't start retirement funds or saving to buy a house or advancing my career because I didn't have the bandwidth. It wasn't until I got sober that I had the bandwidth. So the question you need to ask yourself is, how much bandwidth am I spending on my relationship with alcohol? 20, 30, 40%? And then the next question is, are you getting a good return on your investment? Is alcohol delivering on its promises? And is what it's delivering worth the cost? And I remember being so hungover, really badly. And people kind of going, yeah, but so worth it though. You know what? Never was. It just wasn't worth it. For whatever shenanigans happened the night before, the amount of fun or connection or excitement or whatever alcohol gave me was really not a whole lot compared to the cost of what I'd have to pay the next day. So to answer the question about how do normal people drink in moderation, they're able to drink in moderation because they don't think about it, right? It's this mental obsession that we have, and it grows and grows and grows, and it just becomes this really, if not dominant thing in a life, it just sucks up more bandwidth than is acceptable, right? And depending on how old you are watching this, I got sober when I was 27. I was extremely lucky. I guess, do you guys want me to should I tell my story? I can do it in a video. I'll do that. It'll be a longer video. I'll do that another day. I was extremely lucky, but I was in an extremely bad way. I wouldn't have made it further. I wouldn't have got to my 40s, put it that way. So the just anguish that I was in meant that I was forced to change my life. And when I got sober, it was really miraculous to me that I got this bandwidth back. Oh my gosh, my life opened up in ways that it's really hard to, I can't even tell you all of the extraordinary opportunities and feeling better and all that kind of stuff. So wherever you are, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, my oldest client is 78. One of the things that I don't know everyone realizes what you're going to get is you're going to get this bandwidth back and this energy and space to think thoughts. You can apply it to something that is fruitful, right? That's the thing. Drinking, it's just not fruitful. It brings an artificial version. Okay, let me say this. The reason that we're so invested in our relationship with alcohol is because we've been told it's the best way to have fun, excitement, belonging, connection, to relax and to reward yourself. And we're very invested in that. But really, when we look at it, it's not bringing those things. It's not fruitful, right? It's just bringing a very artificial version of connection, right? An artificially chemically created fun, right? Chemically created excitement. And we forget really, really quickly what it's like to be able to do those things organically. And that's what sobriety will give you. It will give you the ability, because of the bandwidth, to create those things organically. Sobriety is fruitful. If you invest in it, it will pay off. It is literally the best investment you can make. Of course, you're investing in your health and by default, then your relationships, et cetera, et cetera. But investing in sobriety will continue to be fruitful. I've been sober for 25 years. I invest in my mental and emotional well-being, which as a result, that keeps me sober. I don't think about alcohol, by the way. I mean, I think about it because of my work, but I don't think about it personally. I just live my life. It really doesn't exist for me. And it is possible. I promise you, it's possible for you to get to that place too. Because I'm not special or unique. And I've worked with tons of people and seen tons of people. You can get to a place where it's just something vague in the background. Like, you're just really glad you don't drink, and, drunk people are really boring, all of that kind of stuff. It's absolutely possible to change how you think, how you see the world. And it starts with getting your bandwidth back. So if you want to do that, please look at the links below for all of the different ways to work with me. All right, take care.